So far, it's just been trains on this channel, but to kick it up a notch, there will be the occasional flight review. And that brings us to Haneda Airport. I had just gotten off my connecting flight from Canada on board ANA's Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. In this video, we will be taking a look at ANA's domestic 767 on a short hop from Tokyo-Haneda to Osaka-Kansai. Transferring from international to domestic at Haneda was a smooth process, as ANA's Vancouver flight arrives just after the evening rush. Preparing my QR code and traveling without a check-in also made things easier, and for an extremely busy wide-body route, it was surprisingly empty. That said, the area past domestic security doesn't really have any quick service restaurants, as unlike in America, you do not need to wait 3 hours past security to fly within the country. That said, on the flip side, there are vending machines in the terminal area for food. As we look outside gate 59, we see our Boeing 767, registered Juliet Alpha 609 Alpha. This domestic configured 767 was delivered to ANA in November 2002, making it 20.9 years old at the time of recording. The flight, NH99, boarded around 8:45 p.m., and despite not being able to see much, this is our takeoff from runway 05.
Dear passengers, we are ready for takeoff. Please make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. Expect to arrive at Kansai Airport at 10:30 p.m. Thank you.
This flight only takes 90 minutes, so let's do a quick tour. The seating layout since 2016 contains 10 business class and 260 economy class seats for a total of 270 seats. Economy class is in a 232 configuration, which is pretty standard for 767s. ANA has 2 configurations for its 767s, both for domestic service. The other one features 35 in business and 167 in economy. Suffice to say, the stated interior is here to stay, as these 767s serve routes that last no longer than 2.5 hours. I was seated in column G for this quick hop over. Instead of your standard IFE, you get the pocket for the safety info cards. However, everything else is standard. A fold-down table, air sickness bags, a seat back pocket, and USB-A outlets. A remote for the screens is inside the armrest, as well as the switch for a slight recline. And despite not having much padding, the seat still has a headcloth. And around the cabin are the screens displaying a maintenance program. Now for me, 2 things stood out on this short hop. One was that there was still a drink service with either water or green tea. And number 2 was this washroom. And it was interesting because it was located to the side near the catering trolleys. And just like any other Japanese airline, it was clean and in good working order. That said, there is no bidet, but what gives? And just like that, here is our descent into KIX and landing onto runway 06 left. This was one of 3 journeys across ANA and JR Central that I took directly between Osaka and Tokyo. Now, although this topic does require a separate video, there has to be at least some mention of this corridor. The entire Tokyo-Osaka corridor contains 70% of the Japanese population. In other words, that's more than 80 million people across a distance of 500 kilometers. Despite the bullet train having a larger market share than the airlines, this still results in 40 flights a day between the 2 cities. Anyways, it's almost 11 by the time we clear security, and the big kicker for this flight being empty is that the railways start to wind down their connections to central Osaka for the evening. And as we'll talk about in another video, the repeat train is the last limited express departure from Kansai Airport Station. But all in all, it comes down to wanting to spend less and save more time, or spend a bit more and step right into the city center after getting off. And that brings us to the ticket price. 2 weeks before departure, this ticket would have cost 120 US. That said, tickets between Haneda and KIX can be as cheap as 90 US 2 weeks before, thanks to low-cost carrier Starflyer. Now, with everything being said, planes will be cheaper if you plan far in advance. Now, I do hope to talk more about the flight versus Shinkansen debate from a logistical perspective, so if you're interested, please subscribe to the channel. Sadly, I missed a bunch of uploads in August due to work, and in fact, I'm planning to return to Japan for 3 weeks for a vacation. Thank you for watching. Gojousha arigatou gozaimashita.